Hi, happy Thanksgiving from Pastor John and Sandy. Judy's running the camera. Luke the cat's walking around. I think the other two cats are pretty sound asleep, but happy Thanksgiving from our house to yours. We're here in front of the fireplace to put out a little Thanksgiving message. Today, I want to tell you one of the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for those genealogies in the Bible, those long lists of so-and-so begat, so-and-so begat, so-and-so. My friend Kay in high school, she grew up in a really fundamentalist household. And when she went to Bible camp, one of the things you did at Bible camp, you read the whole Bible. Genesis to Revelation, and you had to do it. So she was always grateful she got to a genealogy because you could skip it. It was like, move on. But I just devotionally was reading through Matthew, and the genealogy included a line that really hit me this year. It goes, so-and-so begat, so-and-so begat, so-and-so. It's the genealogy of Jesus. But Matthew includes this one little line where he says, and it was 14 generations after the exile to Babylon. And I thought, wow, what a profound thing that this huge event, the exile to Babylon, the fall of Jerusalem, it's now just a marker on a timeline. Yeah, I mean, it happened. Because think of how big an event that was. This summer, my readings were histories and prophets, and you're going through all the details, all the suffering, all the death, all the destruction, all the cost of that. In Psalm 137, God's people are going, how can we sing the Lord's songs in a foreign land? Their whole way of life was gone. They're just crying, lamenting, and plotting revenge. That's all they could do. And 450 years later, when Matthew comes along, Matthew says, yep, it occurred, and move on. I guess that's probably the way we're handling COVID these days. We're kind of going, yeah, I remember, oh yeah, Thanksgiving 2 years ago, oh yeah, no vaccines, shouldn't travel, no gatherings. Last year was a little bit closer to normal, and this year we're pretty much back to normal. But I think COVID's going to be one of those events that people are going to use to sort of timeline their life. I remember when I was a kid listening to my parents and grandparents catch up, and they would try to say, no, I think that occurred, and they'd use event points in their life. No, that was before cousin so-and-so got married. No, that was when we still lived in this house. And that's how they tell time. That's the way humans tell time. We have a past, we anticipate a future, we live in the present. And that genealogy just reminded me that humans, we live in time. And sometimes those things that were traumatic simply become markers in the past. But thanks be to God, even beyond that, we have a God who stands above time. When I was in third grade, I went to parochial school. So in third grade, one of the things we had to do was memorize a hymn and sing it to the congregation. And we sang, Our God, Our Help in Ages Past. Still in the hymnal, they changed the words just enough to throw me off. It's now, O God, Our Help in Ages Past. But 9, 10 years old, I was singing lines like this. Time like an ever-rolling stream soon bears us all away. We fly forgotten as a dream dies at the opening of day. 1,000 ages in thy sight are like an evening gone, short as the watch that ends the night before the rising sun. The whole hymn is this contrast between how humans, we're trapped in time, we live with it, and how God is big and above time, that he's huge. And so my life, my past, my present, my future, God sees that all in a moment for him from the aspect of eternity. For me, I've got to live it and mark it and figure out that what? No, that was before I married Judy. No, that was when we lived on this apartment. No, that was after seminary. We have all those markers in our lives. Hopefully this Thanksgiving will be a good marker in your life. And if it's not, maybe it'll be like it was with 14 generations after the exile into Babylon. Eventually, it'll come into place. But the really good news for us this Thanksgiving is that our God, who lives in eternity, who is greater and stronger, he stepped into time. In Galatians chapter 4, it goes like this, but when the time had fully come, God sent his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem us who are under the law. God sent his Son into time. We can go back and say in history, yep, roughly here, Jesus was born. Here's when he lived, here's when he died, here's when he rose again. Our God entered time. He entered time to redeem us from it. So our lives don't just become one thing after another until we are no more. Because of Jesus, when we put our faith in him, when we become people of God, we enter into eternity. Our eternal life begins at the moment of faith. When we come to follow Jesus, we believe that our life here on earth is going to be one thing after another, and then death will come, or Jesus will return first. But then we're going to enter eternity, and we're going to live with God in a place of perfection forever. That's what I'm grateful for this Thanksgiving. Yes, I'm going to mark time. Thanksgiving 2022. And I hope it'll be better than my Thanksgiving 2020 was, when we were all hunkered down with COVID. And eventually, these things will become markers in the timeline of our life. But the really good news for us this Thanksgiving, we have a God who transcends time, who comes to us from eternity and opens eternity to us. That's what Jesus did for us. Today, that's what I'm grateful for. Happy Thanksgiving.